Hi everyone, it's Lou Collins from CraftStash, and today I'm joining you for the Altenew blog hop. Now I'm going to be using this gorgeous Be Kind stamp set. I'm going to be doing something to show you how you can use your layering stencils to get a really fun dual and two-tone metallic look to your images. It's absolutely beautiful, really luxurious. You're going to love it, and probably you already have these items at home in your craft room. So let's get straight on to the tutorial. So this card is going to be onto black cardstock, which is something a lot of people are actually scared of using as a base. I love it. I think you can get so many really dramatic and elegant and luxurious techniques from it. So I've cut myself a card base from the CraftStash. That's the Creative Craft Products stamping cardstock. This is 260 GSM. So I've got an A6 base there, or A2 if you're not in the UK. And then I've got myself a little matte and layer from the same cardstock. It's just ever so slightly smaller, so I just took around about 1/4 of an inch off of each edge there, so I've got just the tiniest little border. Now on this I'm going to lastly stamp my florals there, but I'm going to stencil first. Now usually you'd stamp this so it's a guide for your stenciling, but because I'm going to be heat embossing all the elements including the outline here, I want to do my stenciling first. Now I'm going to be working on our rotating mat here, because then as I'm stenciling I've got plenty of maneuver as well. So this is again one of the Creative Craft Products tools. Creative Craft Products is a great brand that we've got at CraftStash of essential tools, and there's things like nesting dies as well, cardstock. There's so much in the range. It's all affordable and really easy to use. So that's what I'm using today. Now I've got here 3 layers to this stencil. So I've got the stem, and then I've got kind of these shapes that are going to make up the layers of the petals that are in this flower. So my idea is that my flower is going to come down this right hand side. So I'm going to want to start putting any colour down, doesn't matter, I don't have to start with the lightest one. I always find it really helpful that on the back of the Altenew packaging you've got the layers there, so I can see which is my lightest and which is my darkest. Now to get this metallic look, I'm going to go with 3 different metallics. I'm going to go with gold. I've got the Ranger Princess Gold embossing powder. I've got the Sizzix one. This is a copper colour. And then I'm probably going to go with silver from Wow. So 3 different brands of embossing powder. Lastly, I'm going to go with a white for the outline afterwards. I've also got a platinum and a champagne colour if I change my mind, but I think these 3 will be good. So I've got a light, which will be my silver, my mid will probably be my gold, and my copper colour will be my dark colours. So I want to go with the largest one first, and I think that's probably going to be the darkest colour, the copper. I need to bear in mind the stem will come down a little bit further than that. So it looks like this one is my darkest colours. So I'm going to place that onto my card around about here. Like I say, I need to bear in mind that I've got the stem that's going to come down slightly further. This is kind of the top of the flower, so just judging that on there. I'm going to use a little bit of low tack tape. Again, Creative Craft Products brand. This is going to just hold everything together. That's all I need. Now to put the ink down perfectly, I'm going to use, again, Creative Craft Products, but I'm going to be using a stencil brush. This is perfect for getting in all the little detail there. I'm going to use Picket Fence Distress ink. Usually I would use an embossing ink for this sort of technique, but today I'd like you to be able to see where I'm actually inking, so it's a little bit more of an interesting video for you. So I thought this is a pigment and dye hybrid. This is where the inspiration for the oxides came. So I know those pigments are going to sit on top of the paper or the cardstock. You're going to be able to see what I'm doing, but also it's going to stay wet long enough for me to do the embossing. So I'm going to go through the stencil here with my stencil brush, just into all of the little shapes there, and they are, some of them are really tiny shapes, lots of detail in these stencils, which I love. So now I've filled in all of those shapes, I'm going to lift my stencil off, and I'm going to put my copper colour embossing powder all over this. And like I say, because it has a pigment in the ink, that should hold on pretty well. There we go, perfect. Now I'm very quickly going to heat set this now. I'm going to do each layer as I do it. Now, although the shapes look a bit unusual at the moment, how beautiful does that look? Okay, then on to the next layer. And again, it doesn't matter which layers we do. We can do the light ones first or the dark ones first. But I'm going to go, let me just have a look at the shapes. So looking at the back of my packet here, this one is going to be my middle colour. So I might as well do this next. And I just want to make sure that I'm fitting this one in alongside the last one and making sure I'm getting it all in the right place. So I can quite easily see there that there's a square in the middle, and that square in the middle needs to go over the copper. There we go. So once you start laying the stencil down, you can quite clearly see where it needs to be. And I'm going to repeat this process. Let's just put the lid on my copper colour. This is going to be the gold, because that's the middle colour there. So again, with the white, so you can see where I'm inking, getting in all that detail with my stencil brush. These stencil brushes come in a pack of 12, so you can kind of have one for each colour of the rainbow if you wish, and then one for embossing ink or one for white as I have. And there we go. So there's my next layer there. I'm just going to sprinkle the gold over this. And then I'm going to repeat that once again with the silver colour. It's looking so pretty. Okay, so the last layer for the petals is going to be this one. This is going to be our lighter layer. Again, it's really easy for me to see exactly where that needs to sit. So just lining everything up, making sure that I've got it in the right place. Put a bit of tape over the bottom of the stencil and the paper there. The rest I'll just hold down. And I'm going to just work round in those small circles, making sure I get into all the edges. How gorgeous do those three colours look together? We haven't even got the outline on there just yet. So I do need to do the stem. That's the last one. I'm kind of trying to decide which colour the stem is actually going to be. But I think with the stem, I might have to put the colour in afterwards, because I'm a little bit scared. I haven't got anything to go by for whereabouts this needs to be exactly, I don't think. I think it's there. But I'm just scared if I do this now and then I stamp, it's in the wrong place, because I haven't got as many guidelines as I had with the rest of the petals. So I think I need to stamp next. So let's take this stamp out and pop it into my stamping platform. So this is my Creative Craft Products stamping platform. It's my go-to stamp platform for absolutely any type of stamp. I really love that it's got these springs on it so that you can line up your stamps before pressing down. So I'm just going to take a look at that from directly over it and just make sure that I have got this in the perfect place for the outline. I don't mind so much if there's a tiny little bit offset, but I want it as close as possible. I think that's kind of going to be in the right place. So let's just pick this up. I definitely want some anti-static powder on that one. And then again, I'm going to use my white pigment ink so you can see where I'm stamping. Now I need to be aware that the embossing that I've already done is going to be a raised area, so I'm actually going to have to press quite hard on this to make sure that I get all the areas of the image on the paper. Okay, I'm happy with that. You can just see that stem there. That's probably all you can see. So let's go in with the white now and pick out that outline. I've got a brush here as well, just because I popped my fingers on the cardstock, so there's a few stray pieces of embossing powder that I'd just like to brush away. Like I said, I don't mind a few stray pieces if I'm going for an artsy look, but I'd like this to be quite clean. And now I'm going to heat set this again. I'm actually feeling at this stage that I don't even want to add colour to the stalk or the stem there. I think that looks beautiful as it is. All of those gorgeous metallic colours coming through. Now I just need to work out my sentiment. So I'm using the stamps Note to Self and Be Kind there. I'm overlapping the embossed flower just a little bit to get a nice look. I'm going to do this in a bright white. So again, bringing in my white here. Oh, I do need to do the anti-static bag, of course. Must make sure I do that. And then the white ink just all over the stamp. So you probably won't see this so much when I first stamp it, but hopefully you'll be able to see it once I've added the embossing powder. I don't want to press down on the Note to Self too much. It's tiny, tiny writing, and I want that to be nice and clear. So I'm not going to be pressing too hard. I want to make sure, I think everything there has stamped nicely. So let's pull that away and go in with the white embossing powder. Lastly, there's a little part of the stencil that is just for the bottom portion of the word kind. And I think I am going to fill that in. So just placing that over the top, but just with some white ink. So it's going to be really subtle. You're only just going to see this, to be honest. It's going to be very pale, but I think it will add a nice effect. I don't really want to go in with metallics because I want the flower to really stand out as the metallic part and everything else just be monotone against it. There we go. So very subtle, as you can see, but absolutely beautiful. Now time to clean this up and pop it onto the front of our card base. So I'm using my creative adhesive foam. These are the large black squares. They are 2mm thick, so it's going to be nice and deep, and they're around about 1 inch by 1 inch wide. I did trim my panel down a little bit more because I felt that it was ever so slightly too far to the left, so I trimmed some off the left hand side. Sorry, it was too far to the right, so I trimmed some off this left hand side and off the top and bottom to make the border even again. I think that is absolutely perfect. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. So fun and so different to your usual stenciling and stamping combination florals. Thank you so much for joining us all on this Altenew blog hop. You'll find out all the details down below if you're thinking about entering the giveaway. And if you enjoyed our video, please make sure you subscribe to the CraftStash YouTube channel for more tips and tutorials like this. Take care, everybody. See you again very soon.